Listen to me. This message is not for everyone. This is for the person who already knows. You know something is wrong. You feel it every morning when you open your eyes and stare at the ceiling. You feel it when you tell people you are fine and your voice sounds convincing, but your soul stays quiet. See, the problem is not that life is hard. Life has always been hard. The problem is that you have been lying to yourself about it. You said you had time. You said tomorrow. You said one day. When things slow down, when the timing feels right, when motivation magically shows up. But listen carefully. Time does not slow down for confused people. Time speeds up. And one day you wake up, and the life you were supposed to live is now a story you tell yourself about what could have been. That pain you feel right now, that quiet pressure in your chest, that is not stress. That is not bad luck. That is your potential asking you why you stopped showing up. You were not born to survive days, you were born to attack them. But somewhere along the way, you learned how to be comfortable instead of committed. You learned how to explain instead of execute. You learned how to look busy while staying exactly where you are. And nobody called you out. So you stayed there. Let me tell you something most people will never tell you. You are not tired. You are uninspired. You are not overwhelmed. You are unfocused. You are not unlucky. You are undisciplined. And that truth hurts because it means the problem is not outside of you. It means the problem has your name on it. See, discipline does not care about your feelings. Discipline shows up even when motivation stays home. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is contractual. You made a deal with yourself once. A deal to be more, to live louder, to aim higher. And then life tested you. And you renegotiated that deal in private. You lowered the standards. You softened the goals. You told yourself it was maturity. No. That was fear learning how to sound reasonable. Fear is smart. Fear does not scream. Fear whispers. It says, take it easy, be realistic, don't rush. But every great life was built by someone who ignored that whisper and chose action over comfort. Let me be clear. You do not need more information. You do not need another video. You do not need another plan. You need to stop negotiating with the version of you that is afraid to grow. Because every time you choose comfort, you are teaching your future self that quitting is acceptable. And the scary part is this: quitting becomes a habit before success ever does. Right now, someone with less talent than you is winning. Not because they are smarter, not because they are special, but because they decided to stay consistent. On days you decided to stay comfortable. The world does not reward intention. The world rewards execution. Dreams without action are just expensive fantasies. And deep down, you know exactly what you need to do. You just keep hoping the feeling will disappear. So you do not have to do it. But it won't. That pressure you feel will follow you until you become the person you said you were going to be. This is not a motivational talk. This is a confrontation. And it starts today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month, today. Because the moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment your life finally starts moving. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Your life right now is the result of your daily decisions, not your dreams, not your intentions, not your excuses, your decisions. Every small choice you repeat is voting for the person you are becoming. When you hit snooze, you vote for comfort. When you avoid the work, You vote for fear when you say, I'll start tomorrow. You vote for delay. And the scary part is this: those votes add up. Nobody wakes up one day and suddenly fails at life. Failure is quiet. It happens in small moments when nobody is watching. Success works the same way, but success is heavier. It asks more from you than comfort ever will. See, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. It is you telling yourself, I said I would do this, and I am a man or woman of my word, even when it is boring, even when it hurts, even when nobody claps, because discipline is built in silence. Comfort, on the other hand, is loud. Comfort sells you peace today and steals your future quietly. Comfort says you deserve rest, you worked hard, you can skip today. But comfort never reminds you how expensive that skip becomes. After years of repetition, let me ask you something real. What hurts more? The pain of effort or the pain of regret? Because you will feel one of them. That part is not optional. Effort hurts now. Regret hurts forever. Effort demands energy. Regret drains your soul. Effort builds pride. Regret builds shame. And yet most people choose regret because it feels lighter today. But listen to me closely. The pain of regret gets heavier. Every single year you delay. One day you are 30, telling yourself you still have time. Then 40, telling yourself it's too late now. And that lie becomes the prison. You spend the rest of your life inside. Time is not waiting for you to feel ready. Readiness is a myth. Action creates readiness. Confidence does not come before the work. It comes from the work. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That's why talent fails when discipline sleeps. Talent without structure is just potential with an expiration date. And here's the truth nobody likes to hear. You don't lack motivation. You lack standards. You accept days you should reject. You tolerate habits you should eliminate. You negotiate with yourself when the answer should already be no. High performers don't rely on feelings. They rely on rules. Rules remove emotion from decisions. I work even when I don't feel like it. I train even when I'm tired. I show up even when nobody notices. Because they understand something simple. Consistency beats intensity. Every single time. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be consistent. A little every day beats a lot once in a while. You don't fail because you're weak. You fail because you stop too soon. And every time you quit, you make the next quit easier. That's why discipline matters. Discipline protects you from the version of you that wants the reward without the work. Right now, your future self is watching you, watching how you handle pressure, watching how you handle boredom, watching how you handle discomfort. And your future self will either thank you or resent you. There is no neutral outcome. So stop asking yourself if you feel like it. Ask yourself who you are becoming if you don't do it. Because comfort feels good today, but discipline feels good forever. And the person you want to become is on the other side of the work you keep avoiding. Let me take you deeper now. Because discipline alone is not enough if your identity stays the same. You don't change your life by doing new things once. You change your life by becoming a different person daily. Most people try to change outcomes. Very few people change identity. They say, I want to be successful, but they still think like someone who quits when it gets uncomfortable. They say, I want discipline, but they still see themselves as someone who needs motivation first. Listen carefully. You will never outperform the identity you believe you have. If you see yourself as inconsistent, you will always find a reason to stop. If you see yourself as undisciplined, you will always look for shortcuts. But the moment you decide, this is who I am now, everything starts to shift, not because life gets easier, but because your standards get higher. High standards don't ask permission. High standards don't negotiate. High standards don't care how you feel today. They care about who you are becoming. Here is the truth. Winners don't win because they feel confident. They feel confident because they keep promises to themselves. Every time you finish what you start, you send a message to your mind. I am reliable. I can be trusted. I do what I say. That message compounds. Confidence is not hype. Confidence is evidence. Evidence built by repetition. That's why showing up matters. Not once. Not when it's exciting. Every day. Especially on the days you want to disappear. Those are the days that shape your identity. Anybody can perform when energy is high. But character is revealed when motivation is low and commitment is tested. And let me be honest with you. Nobody is coming to save you. No mentor is knocking on your door. No perfect opportunity is waiting. This is not a movie. This is responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. But it's also freeing, because the moment you stop waiting for permission, you realize you're always in control. You don't need to feel ready. You need to move. Motion creates clarity. Action creates belief. Sitting still creates doubt. Think about this. Every time you delay, your mind learns that delay is safe. Every time you act, your mind learns that action is survivable. Growth is not comfortable, but it is familiar once you face it enough times. That's why consistency rewires you. You stop asking, can I do this? And start saying, this is just what I do now. That sentence changes everything. This is just what I do now. I train, I work, I learn, I show up. Not because it's easy, not because I love it every day, but because that's who I am. Identity removes friction. When something aligns with who you believe you are, it stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like integrity. And integrity is powerful, because once you break it, you feel it immediately. That's how discipline becomes natural. You don't rely on willpower. You rely on self-image. You don't ask, should I do this? You ask, with the person I'm becoming, skip this. And most days, the answer becomes clear. Here's another truth. Finishing changes you more than starting. Starting feels exciting. Finishing feels earned. The world is full of starters, ideas, plans, dreams. Very few finishes, and finishes are rare. Because finishing demands patience. When praise disappears, it demands effort. When progress feels invisible, it demands faith. When results are delayed, but finishes win. Not sometimes, always. Because the world rewards those who complete, not those who almost tried. You don't need more goals. You need more follow-through. You don't need more inspiration. You need more reps. Repetition builds identity. Identity builds destiny. And destiny is not discovered. It is constructed. Daily. Quietly. Relentlessly. Right now. You are one decision away from becoming someone new. Not a dramatic decision, a disciplined one. Do the work today, then do it again tomorrow. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't change overnight. You changed by not quitting when it would have been easier to stop. This is where everything comes together. Not motivation, not hype, ownership. Because the moment you fully accept that your life is your responsibility, everything changes. Not because it feels good, but because it feels honest. See, blaming is comfortable. It gives you relief without results. You can blame your past, your parents, your circumstances, your luck. And you might even be right. But listen carefully. Being right won't move your life forward. Ownership will. Ownership says, this is my fault, even if it wasn't my choice. Ownership says, no one is coming, so I'm getting up. Ownership is heavy. But it's also powerful. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone to rescue you, you become dangerous in the best way. You stop asking for permission. You stop explaining yourself. You stop needing approval. You move. And movement changes everything. Let me tell you what happens. When you finally take full responsibility, your excuses start to sound weak. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for nonsense disappears. You stop romanticizing struggle and start respecting effort. You stop chasing motivation and start honoring discipline. You stop talking about change and start becoming it. That's when life responds differently. Not because the world is fair, but because the world respects momentum. Momentum opens doors that talent never will. Momentum attracts opportunities you can't plan for. Momentum puts you in rooms you didn't even know existed. But momentum only comes from doing the work. When nobody is watching, here's the moment most people miss. The breakthrough is not loud. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up quietly. One day you realize you don't hate the work anymore. One day you notice you didn't argue with yourself. One day you catch yourself doing what needs to be done without drama. That's when it clicks. That's when discipline becomes part of you. That's when your identity locks in. And from that point forward, life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. Your problems change. Your circle changes. Your conversations change. And the things that once scared you now feel familiar because you've been here before. You felt discomfort. You felt doubt. And you didn't quit. That's power. Not loud power. Quiet power. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that shows up early and leaves late. The kind that understands that success is rented and rent is due every single day. Let me leave you with this. Your future is not built by what you plan to do someday. It's built by what you do on ordinary days when nobody is clapping. Greatness is not an event, it's a habit. And habits are formed when discipline becomes non-negotiable. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't wait for confidence. Start. Do the work today. Do it tired. Do it scared. Do it imperfect. Just don't skip, because one day, the version of you that you are building right now will look back and quietly say thank you for not quitting when it would have been easier to stop. That is how lives are changed. Not dramatically, but decisively every single day.